Well, goodness, what a year it's been for AEW. We do this list every year here at partsFUNknown and Wrestle Talk, and hey, you should check out the years 1, 2, and 3 lists that we've done. They're ever so good, I promise. We always count the year as starting and ending with Double or Nothing, and bloody hell, the moment Double or Nothing 2022 was over, things happened. Wardlow stopped being the hottest act in the business, the booking of Forbidden Door made the weekly shows unfocused, the TNT title got passed around with all the desire of a donation bucket at a student improv show, injuries ran rampant, Ring of Honor has been a bit weird, and did I miss anything? Oh yeah, backstage things! Here's hoping that between All In, MJF's title run, and the awesome BCC vs. Elite story that things get back on track for AEW, because remember, if WWE and AEW are both good, that is the best possible timeline for a wrestling fan. But hey, regardless, there's been some mint AEW wrestling this year. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown. Here are our 10 best matches from AEW Year 4. Honourable mention, Forbidden Door as a whole. I've mentioned this pay-per-view in my favourite shows of 2022. I did at the end of last year, and for good reason. It's a chocolate-coated banger. But after much soul-searching, I decided to not put any Forbidden Door matches on this list, as they're sort of both AEW and New Japan matches, plus nearly all of them are worthy to put on this list, so it makes the top 10 more interesting. Rewatch Forbidden Door. Basically, it's well good. Number 10, Claudio Castagnoli vs. Konosuke Takeshita, Battle of the Belts 3. For anyone concerned about the future of AEW, we got 2 words for you. Konosuke Takeshita. Guy's a megastar in the making. He's had a goddamn brilliant year turning out foot-thumping classics with Bryan Danielson, get used to hearing his name spoilers, MJF, Adam Page, Jon Moxley. It's a pretty damn impressive resume for someone so new to the company. Picking a favorite of his is tricky, but let's throw some love to Ring of Honor, and especially Claudio Castagnoli, who's overperformed as current ROH champion, despite him not having nearly enough TV time as he deserved until quite recently. Their match at Battle of the Belts 3 was a proper barnstormer, 2 gents in total physical control of their bodies, working a technical clinic focused on Takeshita's back and Claudio's neck. At one point, Claudio counters a jumping knee into a Death Valley driver, and it's the sort of thing that just makes you beam with pride that the former Cesaro is getting to go NXT Tony again. Well, when we get to see him anyway. Number 9, Bryan Danielson vs. Daniel Garcia, Dynamite, August 17th, 2022. Who is the best signing in AEW history? If you're Luke, you'd say Jeff Jarrett. If you're a historian, you'd say Chris Jericho. But if you're an AEW casual who just likes to watch good matches all the livelong day, the answer is Bryan goddamn Danielson. The American Dragon has been in the company for less than 2 years and has already had over 20 matches that have received 4.5 stars or more. That is ridiculous, sir. Some of his best work has been the House of Dragon flavored feud that he had with Daniel Garcia last summer. Normally, sponsored wrestling matches are pitch black shit, but these two are some of the best technical wrestlers breathing, even if Garcia does have some seasoning to do when it comes to his character. No, that hat does not count as a character. Their whole series is great, but the best is this, their 2 out of 3 Falls match featuring precise limb work, bloodied offense, and even some classic Ricky Steamboat concrete DDTing. Also, those post-match chants of "You're a wrestler," genuinely moving. 10 points to the crowd. Number 8, The Elite vs. Death Triangle, Dynamite, January 11th, 2023. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have done 7 of these, but don't let the fact that we were forced to have 7 helpings of cake distract you from the cake being actually really good. At Full Gear, The Elite made their return to our screens following Brawl Out, and surprisingly, lost to Death Triangle, sparking a best of 7 series, all of which was good, and some of which was great. It's a shame that their final match on January 11th might not be remembered as fondly, because, you know, we just had 6 of the fuckers. But it's a ladder match and it's bloody wonderful, saving the best till last. I mean, it's a ladder match featuring the Elite and Death Triangle. I'm not just going to list all the spots to you, but that Super Hurricane Rana onto the ladder, that Fear Factor, that One-Winged Angel. The Elite do very stupid wrestling, but you can't deny how much fun they're able to cram into one match. And speaking of, number 7, El Hiel del Vikingo versus Kenny Omega, Dynamite, March 22nd, 2023. Some people on the internet got very salty about AEW advertising this match as a dream match, despite El Hiel del Vikingo appearing for not 1 minute on AEW programming. However, those people are your dad, and not only was the hype accurate, but the match was the video package you need in order to understand who Vikingo is and why he's a walking gif. In the grand tradition of Bryan Danielson, current AAA mega champ Vikingo walked into AEW and immediately had a 5-star match with Kenny Omega on free telly. What a world. The match itself is wonderful, the crowd are super hyped for it, and it serves as a fab showcase for the man that gravity has blocked and reported. Some of the spots are highly stupid indeed, including one that legit could have killed Vikingo, a springboard 630 through a table on the outside, with the lad almost braining himself on the ring apron, maybe slightly less of that. Even so, a jaw-dropper of a match, and the fact we get this for free on AEW, we're very spoiled little piggies. Number 6, Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter, AEW Holiday Bash 2022. It's been a mixed bag for AEW's women's division in year 4. In one sense, the current top act, the heel trio known as the Outcasts, is an absolute shameless rip-off of the NWO right down to the spray painting, which is not quite setting the scene on fire. On the other hand, though, Jamie Hayter might just be the best AEW women's champion they've ever had, especially when she's turning out classics like this. Fresh off a win the belt of Full Gear, Hayter's first proper defense saw her take on AEW standard bearer Hikaru Shida in the main event of the special Holiday Dynamite, and Lord, the crowd loved it. For damn good reason too, being one of the hardest hitting non-deathmatch matches the AEW's women's division has ever seen. The two women plaster each other with strikes and suplexes as the crowd rises in temperature until a spontaneous standing ovation breaks out. While the AEW's women's placement on weekly TV still leaves a little to be desired, but hey, they've only had 4 years, give them a break. Sarcasm, they still have a talent pool capable of turning out match of the year candidates. Number 5, Adam Page versus Jon Moxley, Revolution 2023. I mean, I guess it depends how much you like watching people get stabbed in the head with a fork. I'm in two minds. Part of me thinks that literally these two exact men have had better matches when they're not just walking through a Home Depot looking for things they can wrap in razor wire. But the other part of me also can't deny that it's not only a hell of a spectacle, but also a spectacle that the Revolution fans really wanted to see. Jon Moxley specializes in this kind of epic death match where you're equal parts disgusted and impressed, and so far this might be his masterpiece. I mean, all the things you can think to do with bricks and barbed wire they thought of and did, and it's the kind of statement win that Hangman Page desperately needed after his title reign ended amidst a bunch of CM Punk grass-touching hoopla. Do I want to see it all the time? No, thank you. Do I respect the effort and blood expelled by both men to satiate the AEW fans' lust for red silliness? Absolutely. Number 4, Jay Lethal versus Mark Briscoe, Dynamite, January 25th, 2023. Oh man. The wrestling world was rocked earlier this year when news broke that a mere month after the Briscoes and FTR blew off their widely acclaimed rivalry at Final Battle, Jay Briscoe had been killed in a car crash. Desperately sad to see any wrestler die so young, especially one that's had as much impact in a company as Jay Briscoe has had in Ring of Honor. A week later, on what would have been Jay's birthday no less, his brother Mark wrestled in the main event of Dynamite, his first official AEW match against Jay Lethal in a tribute to his brother, and bloody hell it was moving. It's an uncanny experience to watch grief be worked through via the medium of psychotic redneck kung fu, but as we've unfortunately seen multiple times in this industry, even in AEW, a tribute match just hits different, shifts the perspective on wrestling from a normal narrative of winners and losers to show it for what it really is, a skillful cooperation between friends and between family. Reach for the sky. Number 3, The Elite versus the Dark Order, All Out 2022. Man, the infamy that will forever surround All Out 2022 is really annoying, partially because speculation about backstage drama within a company is something I've really grown to dislike over time, but also, more simply, it overshadows that there was some absolutely banging wrestling at the show, especially this match featuring 3 men winning the first ever AEW Trios Championships for immediately vacating them thanks to their part in the said backstage drama. The entire tournament leading up to this moment was gold. Aussie Open versus Death Triangle would have been at number 11 on this list, but the finals were super elevated, not just by the bonkers party wrestling perfected by Kenny and the Bucks, but also the fact that it was Hangman Page and Kenny Omega coming face-to-face in-ring for the first time since Full Gear the year before. Crazy spots, plus a unique storytelling crowd hook, that's how great wrestling comes to be. And that moment where Page and Omega drag their partners to the corner so they can tag in, that's a chef's kiss. Number 2, The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory, All Out 2022. Well, you knew I had to get a little bit of Keith in here somewhere, didn't you? I will marry you one day, big fella. I think we would all like to see more of Keith Lee in AEW, and I'm pretty sure at some point him and Swerve were supposed to blow off that feud, right? Like, I didn't dream that. But hey, at least we got this, an incredibly exciting match featuring an incredibly excited crowd, watching my best friend, Keith Lee, do incredibly exciting things. It's a hell of a thing, the Chicago crowd. They are rabid for the Acclaimed, who just hit the peak of their popularity thanks to their Shakespearean catchphrase, "Scissor me daddy ass." Wrestling. What seemed on the outset to be a match that would cement the title reign of Swerve and Our Glory became what felt in the moment as the match to coronate the Acclaim. No one really expected it, but as the match went on, and it built, and the expertly done near fall started coming, it felt like there could be a little bit of magic in the air, and the Acclaimed might just do it, which saw Chicago going absolutely mental for them, louder even than for the CM Punk main event. And number 1, MJF versus Bryan Danielson, Revolution 2023. Bryan Danielson, you're too much. Since he arrived, he's done 30-minute time limit draws, hour-long time limit draws, Anarchy in the Arena matches. He's even wrestled on AEW Dark under a mask, calling himself Infinito for shizzles and giggles, and now here he is at Revolution, wrestling his first AEW pay-per-view main event, which sounds crazy, wrestling for 65 goddamn minutes, and 65 great minutes at that. It's smartly structured, this match, a 25-minute standard main event match to get to the first fall, then a bit of silly pro wrestling theatre with the low blow and double pinfalls to tie up at 2 apiece, give the crowd a bit of a shake-up and a reset, then another pair of falls over the next 20 minutes, and of course, have it be tied before the desperate final stretch. Tiebreaker, very well seeded heel shenanigans, MJF walks away with it. It's really clever stuff, even without all the ace character work done by MJF, who's struggling to keep going, and Danielson, who might as well be holding up a dustbin lid because he can do this all day. I know you're wondering, Adam, is it a better Iron Man match than Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle on SmackDown? It's very similar, but you know what? It might just be epically entertaining and the perfect first defense for MJF, whose title run AEW should hopefully build the entirety of year 5 around. And that's our list. What's been your favorite AEW match from their 4th year? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to check out last week's list, which you can do right now. Well, you don't see a lot of fatal 4-ways in pro wrestling. Triple threats, sure. The naughty 9-way, absolutely. But fatal 4-ways are a little bit more thin on the ground. In 2010, WWE actually dedicated a pay-per-view to them exactly one time. The pay-per-view was called Fatal 4-Way, and it was, it was fine, actually. It was actually pretty good. Each world title was contested in a fatal 4-way, and 9